Hi, everyone. Welcome. Um, we're just giving everyone a few minutes to come in. Um, so, thank you for coming and just hang tight. Okay, so we're going to get started. Welcome, everybody, to Trans Existence as Resistance. Thank you so much for coming. And this is going to be a great evening of storytelling, poetry, visual art, and music, all by trans and non-binary people across the country. If you haven't yet donated on the Eventbrite to Trans Justice Funding Project, you still have time, and the link is in the chat. Our goal is to raise $1,000, and we're almost 50% there. So thank you so much to everyone who donated already. So the donations will go to Trans Justice Funding Project, which is a national organization dedicated to supporting small grassroots intersectional trans-focused organizations around the US and US territories. This event was organized by queer youth across the country who were deeply hurt by these attacks on trans lives. So I decided to organize this event when I learned that there was a possibility of more anti-trans bills this year. And I was really hurt by these attacks. And so I just wanted to respond to how our community has been hit so incredibly hard this year. There have been so many attacks on trans rights across the country, and we are scared for ourselves and our friends. But they cannot erase us. Many of these attacks on trans bodies were attempts to win elections, and we are here to show them that they won't win. We will keep fighting, supporting each other, and making beautiful art that uplifts our community. Now I'll pass it over to Ro to talk about the bills.
I think we're going to start from the beginning because the streaming wasn't working on all the platforms. So sorry to anyone who just has to watch over again.
Welcome everybody. Hi, my name is Elsa Eli Waith, they them pronouns. Thank you so much for watching Trans Existence as Resistance. I am a trans comedian, performer, instructor, motivational speaker, jack of all trades, master of a couple. You might have seen me on MTV, BET, NPR, and other three-letter things. I want you all to get ready for a great evening of storytelling, poetry, visual art, and music, all by trans and non-binary folks from all over the country. If you haven't already donated, please shuffle over to the Eventbrite, and you still have time. The link will be living in the chat. Our goal is to raise $1,000, and I believe we are 50% of the way there. So keep those donations coming. Trans justice funding Project is a national organization dedicated to supporting small, grassroots, intersectional, trans-focused organizations around the United States and United States territories. This event was organized by queer youth all across the country who are deeply hurt, deeply concerned about attacks on trans lives. So I think now will be an excellent time to hear from some of them. Let's kick it over.
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm Flora, and when I heard that there was a possibility of more anti-trans bills this year, I said to Ro, who worked with me on this protest, if this happens again, I'm holding a freaking protest. And months later, here we are. Our community has been hit incredibly hard this year. There have been countless attacks on trans rights across the country, and we are scared for ourselves and our friends. But they cannot erase us. Many of these attacks on trans bodies were attempts to win elections, and we are here to show them that they won't win. We will keep fighting, supporting each other, and making beautiful art that uplifts our community. Now, I'll pass it over to Ro to talk a little bit about the specific legislation affecting trans rights across the country.
Hi, thank you all so much for coming. So you might be wondering why we're doing this. Like if you're a little confused about the specifics, we're going to do a short presentation about the overview of the bills that have been passed this year. So, oh wait, next slide. Here, wait. Okay. So, for all of the bills introduced in 2022, there were like all sorts of things that happened. There was legislation that criminalizes gender affirming healthcare for trans youth, bills that restrict restroom access to only based on biological sex. There were bills that exclude trans youth from participating in sports that align with their gender identity. There were bills allowing religiously motivated discrimination, ones that make it hard for trans individuals to change their name and their gender on legal documents, and also getting rid of the non-binary X designation and making only male and female options. And then a big one was bills in school curriculum prohibiting like discussion about LGBTQ plus issues. Next slide, please. Okay, so some of the major states where these bills are happening are Tennessee, Iowa, Arizona, and Oklahoma. Obviously, this is a nationwide issue, but we wanted to bring attention to the places where it's most prevalent. So for bills proposed in 2022, there were 35 restricting healthcare, 8 restricting use of the correct bathroom, 69 restricting trans youth from participating in sports and activities, and then you may have heard of the Don't Say Gay bill. That was a big one. We're going to go into more depth about these soon, but I don't know. Seems like they're scared of us or something. Like I knew we were cool, but I didn't know we were that special. Next slide, please. Okay, now we're going to go into a little more depth about the specific bans. In terms of healthcare bans, in Ohio, Bill HB 454, which is currently in committee, prevents youth from gender affirming care. It's also known as the SAFE Act, or Save Adolescents from Experimentation. And this kind of draws attention to like how dangerous addiction can be by labeling healthcare as experimentation. Then in Arizona, Bill SB 1138 has been enacted. This criminalizes specifically gender-affirming surgeries for minors, but it does not. This does not include any intersex patients. So essentially, kids cannot medically transition unless they are intersex, which is a weird combination. But then in New Hampshire, we have Bill HB 1651, which failed. But if it had been passed, it would have classified gender-affirming care as child abuse, which gets into a whole nother legal like danger zone. And we can see similar messaging in Texas with this, because the Texas governor and attorney general also made statements claiming that gender-affirming care was child abuse and urged the public to report instances of gender-affirming care as child abuse, including puberty blockers, among everything else. And so I guess it's a little bit scary to see how much like reinforcement of the gender binary is prevalent in these bills. But at the same time, like when we were making these slides, we kind of tried to like spice it up a little and look for some diversity in bills. But these are essentially all the same. And if there are any transphobes out there listening, I'd just like to say, be a little bit more creative. Thanks. Next slide. Okay. Well, I'm not sure if it's loading, but I can just talk about the next slide, which is sports bans. Oh, okay, here. Sorry. Now it's loading. Okay. In Tennessee, SB 1861 has been enacted, and this removes educational funding from schools that refuse to disclose a student's biological sex in athletic participation. In Iowa, a bill was passed that said that students in all academic institutions may only participate in sports on the basis of biological sex. And in Oklahoma, the Save Women's Sports Act has been approved, and this states that parents must sign forms that confirm their child's assigned sex at birth, and it particularly excludes trans femme people from participating in girls' sports. I'd like to draw a connection to Roe v. Wade here, and just like note the harm being caused and the restriction of bodily autonomy, and point out like that these bills are intended to restrict the freedoms of people to exist and control their own bodies when they're like extremely interconnected, and an attack on women and queer people and people with uteruses and trans people anywhere. It all like reflects on the same thing. Okay, next slide, please. For curriculum bans in Arizona, a bill was passed that prohibits education about sex, sexual orientation, and LGBTQ plus issues without direct parental consent, and it also requires teachers to out students to their parents. In Georgia, a bill has been passed to prevent education not only around LGBTQ plus issues, but also slavery, other historical oppressions, and anything deemed politically divisive. And then the Don't Say Gay bill, which we mentioned earlier, in Florida, prohibits instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity from kindergarten to third grade, on the basis that this is indoctrination. But I just like to say that I was learning about cisgender heterosexual people for my entire life, and it didn't turn me cisgender and heterosexual. So I don't know about that logic. Okay, now we're going to move on to some positive bills on the next slide. Oh wait, sorry, there are a few more bills. There in Oklahoma, there was bills outlining the X designation on documents and requiring students to only use the restrooms and locker rooms that correspond to their biological sex. And then in Virginia, there was a bill that exempts school boards from adopting the policies about protecting trans students as outlined by the Department of Education. Okay, now we're going to talk about the good stuff because that was a lot of bad stuff. In New Jersey, there was recently a bill introduced that prohibits juror disqualification based on sexual orientation and gender identity, and also establishes anti-discrimination practices. In Vermont, there was a bill enacted to support trans individuals in making amendments to their birth certificates that reflect their gender identity or name. And again, in New Jersey, a bill was introduced to protect trans people and just anyone on the basis of gender from discrimination in life insurance policies. And then just yesterday, a bill was signed, but in California, it's California SB 107, and this would make California a refuge for kids seeking gender affirming care, and could also encourage other states to pass similar bills. This is what Flora was talking about when they were talking about how important it is to vote. Next slide, please. We are fighting back. There's still hope. We don't want you to give up just because there's so many bad things going on in the world. So thank you for being here. I'm really excited to get started, and that's it.
All right, folks, let's give it up for Ro. Thank you for supplying us with all that really important information. Make sure that if you are so inclined to help, which I'm sure you are because you are here tonight, that you run on over to the Eventbrite and drop a little tickle in the tank. All right, great. Let's get this show on the road and introduce you guys to some performers. How's that sound? Big thumbs up? Great. Your first performer is a passionate advocate and founder of Invisible Men, an organization focused on uplifting and building community among trans men and non-binary transmasculine folks, and centered on people of color. Your next performer is a critical voice in health education, organizing trans justice and movement for Black Lives. In 2019, he was the strategy director for the historic 2019 Trans Visibility March, and in 2020, he was the designer for the All Black Lives Matter art installation on Hollywood Boulevard. Please, everyone, make the most noise happen. Get down in the chat right now for Lucky Alexander.
Hello, hello. Can you all see me, hear me? Fantastic. Awesome, awesome. My name is Lucky Alexander, and I am the founder of Invisible Men. I am also the, I don't think my video anyway, I'm the founder of Invisible Men. I'm also, I play many other things in the community. So I'm here today to talk about what these young folks are doing. I am super, super excited about what they're doing and how they're standing up for themselves. And so I'm super proud to be here to talk to folks and let them know that this is amazing and this is incredible, and let's support these young folks. As an older trans individual, I am definitely in support of everything that they're doing, and I appreciate them. And so now I'm going to throw this back to Eli.
Hello. Awesome. Thank you so much, Lucky, for helping us out with this tonight. I want to bring up your next entertainer performer. Your next artist is a 17-year-old gay trans teen born and raised in LA. and has struggled for years for feeling out of place with both his sexuality and gender identity. Using the mediums of both poetry and drawing, he found a way to explore his gender identity and come to terms with his sexuality. His art specifically revolves around cisgender heterosexual expectation of what trans people should be. Please make all the noise you can right now. Get down in the chat for Eli Alper, everyone. Eli, get on up here.
Hi.
Hello.
So I've struggled a lot in my short experience on this world with a lot of generally just expectations. It's a lot of people in my life have told me that or implied at least that I am not valid based on their perception of what a trans person should be. Because I didn't know since I was a little kid that I was trans and I didn't always present in a masculine way. And I've gone through a couple pronouns and name changes. And I have always been an artist, and I like to center my art sometimes around my experiences, not so much making a specific statement with them, but just to have some representation in my art. There might be some technical difficulties with getting my art on the screen, but I will try and share it. Sorry, just 1 second. Sorry, just 1 minute.
Hi everyone. We're just having a few technical difficulties with sharing the art. Please hang tight for a few minutes, and we'll be right back.
Okay, folks. So, hey, it is our new pandemic dim world where everything is on the computer and no one knows what to do. It's great. In the meantime, I still have myself here. How's everybody's apocalypse going? Is that going all right? Is everybody having a good apocalypse? I don't know about you guys. I kind of thought the end of the world would be like a little faster. You know, I kind of got to wrap this end of the world thing up ASAP. Do you guys know that you still have to pay rent during the apocalypse? Whose idea is that? I don't know. There's no handbook for the apocalypse, right? You know, do I keep my job? Do I stay at my job, or do I quit now, or do I stay and keep stealing? What do you do? What do we want to do? I've been stealing a lot I don't even have a good job to steal from, you guys. I've been stealing a lot of I don't know, Post-it notes, staples. I don't get none of those are going to be good for the apocalypse, you know. I been watching a lot of the reruns of that show Doomsday Preppers. You guys remember Doomsday Preppers? That was a good show. It's a good show. The whole point of the show, though, is like you get a bunker and then you go down into the bunker and then you stay in the bunker and then you come back in the aftermath. And you guys, I don't think I'm an aftermath type person. You know, I'm barely a right now type person. I cry a lot. I don't know how helpful that's going to be in the aftermath. You know, I can't hunt nor can I gather. Maybe I can do our bartering because I did steal a lot of sticky notes. You know, and who knows what we can do with that. Are we ready to move to our next performer, or we want to go back to Eli's art? You guys, what do we want to do? All right, so I'm going to kick it back over to Eli because I am super interested in seeing some of this art. Thanks for allowing me to just give you a little bit of my fears and anxieties. All right, Eli, your turn.
Hi, so sorry about the technical difficulties. So I'm just going to go ahead and, yeah. Okay, never mind. I thought I had fixed the problem. Okay, art is processing. I'm just gonna riff for a little bit, I guess. Sorry, just a second.
Fast. I've been saying it over and over. It's a mouthful. Anyways, thanks to the producers of the show. If more high school kids were doing stuff like this, the world would be a better place. And I'm glad to be here because, you know, I'm trans. I care about stuff like this. Legislation in my home is not great. My name is Stacy K. My name used to be Caleb because I had a weird childhood where my parents tried to raise me as a boy, and they weren't very good at it. I changed my name on all the important stuff, but it comes up on old things that I never bothered to change it on, like my Ulta Rewards card, you know. I'll put my phone number in, and they'll look at it, and they'll be like, Caleb? And I'll be like, nah, that's my boyfriend. People sometimes will be with me, and they'll see the name, they'll see the last name, and they'll be like, wait, boyfriend? And I'll be like, I'm from Arkansas. Yeah, I am from Arkansas. It's different down there. It's a very religious place. I was raised by parents who, you know, sent me to a lot of therapy and gave me a lot of medicine to try to stop me from being this. One time they put me on this really rough anti-anxiety drug or whatever. I don't even know what it was, but it set me into a mode where I just became really honest and started, like wearing my sister's clothes and telling people that I was a girl. And after that wore off, it took about a week. They started asking me again, like, "Hey, do you remember any of that stuff you were saying back whenever you were, on the drugs?" And I was like, nah. But I wasn't a very good liar. So about 2 months later, I found myself at a camp in Indiana. Conversion camp. It wasn't one of the fun ones. It was very religious. It was more like it was framed as like a Bible school. There was like 13 hours of Bible study. It was insane. And at the time, I didn't know it was a conversion camp. I didn't connect the dots necessarily. I knew it was related, but I didn't know exactly.
Awesome, folks. Hey, that was Stacey K. Stacey K is a comedian and model who grew up in Arkansas, performed at the New York Comedy Festival, and audience describer as hilarious, senators describer as disgraceful, and Duncan Colson says she's satanic. So, hey, that's my fave. All right, are we ready for your next performer? Let me hear you say, yeah. Oh, I think I heard one. Awesome, great. We are going to move quickly to our next performer. Your next performer is a trans high school student from Los Angeles, California. He has spent the last few years discovering himself and his trans identity and is excited to share that part of himself through his poetry. Growing up, he didn't have any out trans or non-binary people to look up to or feel comfortable around until high school. So he is looking forward to participating in this event and getting to interact with other trans folk to feel like part of the community. Let's make Alistair feel like they're part of the community. Everybody put your left and your right together. Make all the noise that you can right now. Get it in the chat for Alistair, everyone.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Okay, I think you can hear me. My mic is unmuted. If you can hear my air conditioning, apologies for that. My room is very sweaty right now, and I don't want to deal with that. So I've written a poem about my dead name. Basically, my dead name is the Hebrew word for Venus, like the planet, but also like the goddess. And growing up, I was always told how I was like the perfect embodiment of a girl, how I was feminine and bright and stuff like that. And it made me feel like being a trans boy was like a failure in like femininity. Like I failed to be who I was supposed to be. And I'm currently unlearning that because that's not true. And being trans is beautiful and amazing. And so I wrote this poem about how I'm not Venus. I'm actually the Earth. Metaphor. I was named for the wrong planet. Venus is a beautiful woman, but I am not her. I am not her. I am him. I am him with the long hair, he who wears a dress, him with the painted nails, he who hates his voice, he who has no choice, he who doesn't fit the mold, he who wants to grow old so he can have the freedom to work himself like gold. He who is masculine, he who is androgynous, he who gets to invent his own femininity, he who is not Venus, however pretty she may be. I am not the planet I was named for. I am the Earth. The Earth gets to be grating and messy and gentle and shameless, so why don't I? The Earth gets to change with erosion and weather, oceans and deserts, so why don't I? Why don't I get to change? Does my change make you uncomfortable? Worlds change and the Earth changes, and I am the Earth, a reflection of this wonderful, ever-changing planet. They say I'm allowed to expand and explore, but no, not like that. That's too expansive. They say I can be who I am, but no, not like that. It's too much. But the Earth gets to change, and so I get to change. I was named for the wrong planet, the planet of radiance and glow and light and brilliance, all the things a girl is meant to be. But that girl isn't me. I was named for the wrong planet. Venus is a beautiful woman, but I am not her. I am the Earth. Thank you.
Excellent. Awesome. I be trying to write poems, but all my janks be coming out like, you know, roses are red and violets is blue type stuff. I can't. So thank you for that. Are we ready for your next act? Let me hear you say yeah. Oh, think I heard one. Great. Your next comedian has a BA in English. Sorry. Can you tell I do comedy shows? Look at that. Your next performer has a BA in English and American Literature with a minor in Rhetoric and Writing from the University of Texas, El Paso. The college I went to doesn't exist anymore because it's a scam school, but I get my money back. Awesome. He has spent the last few years discovering himself and his trans identities and excited to share. She has 6 years of experience organizing and leading the youth and is an open and proud trans woman. Your next performer has a passion for LGBTQ advocacy and youth development. Please, everyone, give it up for Andy. Yeah. Andy. Give it up for Andy. No, that's not Andy. Hey.
Hi.
Awesome.
I think we're having some more. Oh, art. Is this Eli's art?
Well, it's kind of sick though.
Oh, cool. This is Eli's beautiful art that we were hearing about earlier. I don't know if he wants to come. Okay.
Hi. This is actually a tattoo I designed. I design a lot of tattoos. I know that there are some people, like trans masculine people, who after top surgery get tattoos to cover up their scars. But this is actually a tattoo I designed to bring out my scars once I have top surgery. Hopefully one day. I believe that scars are the things that make us beautiful. They show us who we are. And the moth is, or butterfly, whatever you want to say, the wings are a representation of transformation. You can go to the next piece. This is actually one I did with a color challenge where you change your colors all to like black and white, and then you generate a random color palette. Yeah, you can, either of the pictures are fine. Essentially, there is no particular reason I chose to draw this person as this. I just believe that there should be more representation of trans bodies in media, art, and literature. Next. This one is not as particularly related to trans topics as the previous two. This one is actually another tattoo I designed. It's from a movie and musical called Repo the Genetic Opera. And that movie always really like got to me in terms of, well, it's all about like surgery and trying to perfect yourself. And these are the eyes of a character in the movie named Blind Mag, who fell into a performance, like being forced to perform for something and being trapped in this thing that she wasn't. Which really, hit me hard. Next. This is actually a tattoo I designed for my partner, who is gender fluid, and they wanted me to make it so it would resemble sort of like their assigned male at birth, and they wanted a tattoo to show about like their versatility of their gender. And so I did this not only to reflect their personality, but also to sort of resemble it kind of resembles like a uterus in a sort of way. Yeah. Next. And this is I tried to make it in more of a style of a Disney character because like there is not a lot of representation in Disney about things like being trans or being gay. And so I, again, like the other person that I drew in my previous art that was shown, there is no rhyme or reason or story behind this picture. The fact is just that they are trans, you can see that, and they are there. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Well, awesome. Glad we're back. Hey, my lighting feels really harsh. You know, I don't know. I should probably work on that. I got two types of lighting options, you guys. Like way too harsh or unlocked Mortal Kombat character, you know, where it's just silhouette. I don't know how to get my lighting right. All right. I need to get a ring light, I guess. I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna throw this back to Ro and Flora because we've got some information about voting coming up, folks. So, the best way you can be heard sometimes these days is with your vote. So let's throw this back over to Flora and Ro so that they can get us some information. Thanks. Hi, guys.
Hi. So yeah, we really wanted to focus part of this event on the midterms because it's a fair assumption to say that a lot of these bills were attempts to win elections, and we we really want to help everyone to raise their voices in protest by going to the polls. Next slide, please. Next slide. Thank you. So here's a poster from Vote Save America that kind of sums up the different ways you can vote. You can vote by mail or absentee ballot. You can do early voting. You can do official ballot drop boxes, or you can vote on election day, which is November 8th, 2022. Or you can also drop off your ballot at the polling place or election office. Next slide, please. Here's a fun little checklist that you can use for yourself when you're getting ready to vote. Think about, are you registered to vote? Can you vote by mail or absentee ballot in your state? Do you know where you have to return your vote by mail or absentee ballot? And are you able to vote in person? And where should you go to vote in person on election day?
So we put this together to make sure you know how to register to vote. So these are 2 QR codes you can scan. The first one, it just takes 1 minute to ensure you're registered to vote in this year's midterm election. You can also go to whenweallvote.org and click on verify registration. And then the second link, the second QR code, if you scan it, it can register you to actually vote in any state and also update you on any upcoming info for elections in your state. If you don't want to scan the QR code, you can go to votesaveamerica.com and click on Save Your State. Next slide, please. Okay, these are the last days to register to vote in most of the impacted states, as well as a few others that we know viewers are tuning in from. As you can see, a lot of the last days to register are October 11th. And what is October 11th? It's National Coming Out Day. So please celebrate National Coming Out Day by coming out to register to vote.
I think there was one slide before that we missed. So if you could go back, thank you. So
Okay.
do you want to talk about this?
These are just the early election dates. The general election is November 8th, but if you want to vote early so that you don't save voting for the last minute, then you can just find your state on here. Hopefully it's there, and register there. Cool. Next.
Two slides. Okay, great. If you're going to request a mail-in ballot, there's a certain day that you have to receive it by. So if you find your state on here, you can see that we put all of the deadlines. So make sure you get your mail-in ballot on time. Some states do mail ballots automatically to anyone who's registered to vote, which is why it's important to register to vote early. Next slide, please. We put a few more resources there for you. You can sign up to be a poll worker if you scan the QR code on the far left. And you can work the polls in your state. This is very important volunteer work. If you want to be even more involved, you can sign up for Midterm Madness with Vote Save America by scanning the QR code in the middle. And this is getting involved on a local and national level to help create a progressive majority in legislation. And then the final QR code is a link to resources that GLAAD has put together for LGBTQ plus voters. There's also a page for trans voters specifically, as well as a few other identity groups. So you can scan it now or go to glaad.org/vote to check it out. Next slide, please. So thank you. Please vote for those of us who cannot. And if we missed your state, you can find all of the info we talked about on howto.vote. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for all that information. Super, super important that we get out our votes, folks. How are we enjoying the program so far? Let me know in the chat. Thumbs up, 2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs up, and a big toe. Let me know. All right, great, folks. So if you are enjoying it, the night is not over and you still have time to donate. We've got some donation incentives. If you donate $5 to $10, you will get a virtual background phone wallpaper designed by Eli Alper. If you donate $10 or more, you get a promo code for 15% off of merch from the Gender Reveal podcast. That's stickers, mugs, t-shirts, and think phrases like protect trans kids, not cis, the sky is trans, trans wrath, and so much more. Donate at tinyurl.com/tear-down-transphobia. The link will be in the chat, folks. Awesome. Let's get some more show going. Let me hear you say, yeah, I'm listening. Okay, I think I heard it. All right, great. Your next performer is a New York-based comedian, writer, and performer. They are known for their weekly newsletter and podcast, In Baby, and their dance-based performance art. Please give it up for Gara Lanning, everyone.
So being trans, crazy. Right? It's like kooky and fun and the best thing in the world. I was going to share one of my favorite poems that I wrote about my gender in high school. It's called Christopher Nolan. I can't believe I saw Inception 5 times the summer I got my first bra. Christopher Nolan probably bought a matcha with the money my horny teenage body spent on that movie. He drinks matcha because coffee gives him heartburn. I don't know. I'm just assuming. And that's a stupid little poem about me being a teenage girl. And now I am a teenage boy. Keep doing your thing, guys.
Bring me back on the screen. Hey, here's my face. Awesome. Okay, great. That was fun. Your next performer is an LA-based organizer, cultural worker, and educator. Jaden is incoming co-director of Mirror Memoirs, a project that centers the healing and liberation of LGBTQ plus and BIPOC survivors of child sexual abuse. His work within grassroots organizations has included leading trauma-informed programs for trans folks to access health services, advocating for government training and policy changes, that uplift the transgender community, and much, much more. Please, you guys, put it in the chat. Show your love for Jaden Fields, everyone. Jaden, get on the screen.
You are not normal. Something so simplistic, no matter how you stretch it, wouldn't quite fit your frame. You're a creation. Energy a lot kinder than most people make it out to be, dreamed of creating something of worth. It burrowed into the roots of this earth and shaped you, breathed into you. You're breathtaking. There's grace in the way your teeth dance with your lips. Smiles were created to fit your cheeks. There are hummingbirds nestled in your chest. You breathe melody. Words spill from your lips like notes, filling the air around you with music. You speak symphonies. You laugh so heavenly, as if a goddess has kissed your throat. Normal doesn't even begin to describe you. We were born with razor blade eyes, taught to cut each other down, but we are more alike than you think. I, too, have been taken with people who were taken with sparks, who burn you because they find you conveniently flammable, then complain of the smoke. You are more than smoke. I'm amazed at how you rise elegantly from the ashes. The phoenix was named after you. I know that some days your heartbeat glows too bright for your chest, and sometimes you feel to the point of tearing and dream to the point of believing. Just know, I love you. Just know, we love you, and will always love you, until the moon loses her footing in the sky. You are brilliant. Your strength is ancestral. You are creation. So why settle for normal?
All right. Awesome. Woof. You guys, a little misty. Well, it's there. You can see it. It's a little misty. Okay. All right. Awesome, folks. Let's keep it moving. Up next, we're going to take a look at some more art. This art is done by Phoenix Art. Phoenix is a non-binary lesbian living in Arizona, but not Phoenix. He is an actor and visual artist. He grew up in LA. And put some of this art up on the screen for you folks to digest. He feels that this piece is relevant as we continue to fall deeper and deeper into the pit of oppression rather than begin to rise. It's a statement on the current state of trans hope. Check out more of their art. Give it a Google. Give it an Instagram. Phoenix Art. I personally really like this piece. I don't know. Are y'all drawing tattoos, or do I just really want a new tattoo? I think is what's happening for me. Awesome. Let's see. Who am I going to next, folks? Who you guys want me to go to next? Who am I supposed to go next? Stacy next? Okay, cool. Let's do that. Or we could send it. We want to send it back to Lucky. Awesome. Okay, we could send it back to Lucky. Again, real quick. Lucky is the passionate advocate. No, what am I doing? I'm sorry. You guys, what am I doing? Where am I going? My face. It's really great. You know what I got for Christmas? I got a really nice prosthetic little mustache. But I don't have the nice glue to get it on there good. You guys put it in the chat. How did we get our mustaches to stick? Okay, anyway, let's send it over to Ro, folks. We've got some Ro's got some poetry. Ro is a 16-year-old who is passionate about writing and identity-based activism. Ro is an editor for the literary and arts magazine Plaid and Starry False Lily, and is also the leader of their school's environmental club. They believe in freedom of expression and representation as methods for seeking justice, and they care about making the world a safer place for trans individuals on both local and national levels. Let's send it on over to Ro Bloom, everyone. Ro Bloom Wang. Hello.
Hi, I'm back again. I'm going to read a couple of poems. The first one is called Elegy to a Pretty Girl. She was finally getting a little pretty when she died, hands clasped still at last, all coffin prepared. I wish I could tell her to revel in the sting of being called pretty when she straightened her hair before she realized that's where pretty stung. Everyone loved her so much more, how her shyness billowed in waves a while, the way her words trailed off with the wind. She couldn't stand that she couldn't stand. It plagued her mind why she couldn't stand up straight, couldn't understand why she slumped before the mirror beneath a too big sweatshirt, biting back breath before death arrived as September was born. I hope she knows I've missed her pretty, resented it too, to the point that I urge it back when her name rains hard and plain from tongues, because all I have left of her is still and smooth, even though we're both more jagged in truth. We are two separate halves, two galaxies of overlap, where two constellations collide in a single burning mass. The next poem I'm going to read is called When I Grow Up, and these poems are just like about who I want to be, as who I am as a trans person and just as a person in general. So this is my second poem. When I grow up, I want to be unrecognizable, unafraid of the predators I serve and afraid of those I've become. I want to seethe against my scarring silence, but fear blades and scrapes. To be clearly queer and queerly clear, floating tranquil among cacti, but rooted deep in moss-soaked ground. I want to scream, but only where it matters, and whisper where it does too. To care enough, but not this much. To be flannel, soft and warm and strong and worn, woven from tiny threads and shades. To be a jar of droplets, infinity stacked up upon itself, because infinity minus one is still infinity. Water never really dies, it just seeps into air and skin and stays there, pleasantly present or rushing untrusting, but never the murky, mucky, yucky stuff I am now. I want to be the bad good parts that frown and think too much, but not the good bad parts that stay sweet a little too long. To belong, to myself but not this self, to be layers of river and clay and colors, everything I am and everything I am not. Thank you.
Awesome. Hi. All right, great. Let's get some more show in here. Your next performer is a shop and computer programming educator. They've taught sculpture, animation, video game design, physical computation, design strategies, computer programming, mindfulness for makers, fabrication skills such as woodworking, mold making, textiles, from grades 4th grade all the way up to undergraduates. Their passion lies in helping young people explore and express intersecting identities through creative expression and radical imagination. Awesome fun, folks. I want to take a class. Please give it up for Mix Rich, everyone. Mix Rich. Get on up here. Get on the screen. Awesome. Hello.
Can you hear me well?
I can hear you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm really excited and honored to be here today. I recently just passed my 6th month post-op from top surgery, and in processing what those emotions that came up during that time, I wrote a letter to anyone thinking about getting surgery. So I'm going to read that. A letter to those thinking about surgery. I asked for help for what feels like the first time in my life. On March 21st of this year, I went in for top surgery. I was so scared. It was my first time having any procedure beyond getting my wisdom teeth out. I'd gone to meet with 6 doctors before I was finally able to meet the doctor who would eventually perform my surgery. In pre-op, while drawing out her future cut lines, she accidentally drew on my arm with Sharpie and gasped and said sorry. I said, just please don't cut that off. She laughed, and I laughed too. I was asleep even before being wheeled into the surgical room. And then all of a sudden, I was awake in the exact location of where I had been 4 hours earlier, laughing with my doctor. I deepened connections with so many people in the months leading up to that moment. Friends put me in contact with anyone who might be able to give me advice. I asked questions I had never felt comfortable asking before. Will it actually help? Will I grieve? Will people still love me? I couldn't have done it alone, and trust me, I really wanted to. My coping mechanism over the years has been to never ask for any help out of fear of being too much. Living in this world as a trans person has the tendency to make you feel like you are too much. And I want to remind you that that is an absolute lie. You deserve to ask for help. And sure, yes, you will lose some people, but they were never really there to begin with, and you won't even really mind because so many other people will show you how much they care and love for you. I hope that if you are anything like me, you begin asking for help as soon as you read this. During my recovery, I received many letters, but one in particular I want to read today. It's a letter from a poet friend, Emily Luan, and I actually have it framed right here, so I'm going to actually read it off the original letter. Here's some sage from the hills of Northeast Wyoming, a gnarled, stubborn plant that thrives because of and in spite of the winds and the rains and the colds that has always existed and continues to exist. Wishing you continued healing and sending love. I want to remind you that you have always existed and will forever continue to exist. You are of nature, and nature perseveres. I want you to know that because of and in spite of your obstacles, you will not only survive, but you will thrive. I adore you, my sweet radical engineer of healing power of self-commitment. And just like that sage, we have always been here, and we always will be. Thank you so much.
I'm back. All right. Sorry. I was just saying that I feel inspired and tingly, and I need to get a framed poem, obviously. It's what my life has been missing. Are we ready for our next performer? Great. So we're going to swing back around, and I'm going to throw up a video from open and proud trans woman from the University of Texas at El Paso. 6 years of experience with organizing and leading the youth. Please throw that video on for me, Flora.
The video is processing, so I'm gonna share a poem right now. I wrote this poem as sort of a love letter to queer people. It's called You Are Not Broken. You are not broken, though they break your brittle bones with words that sharply sting. You are not wrong, though they shout at you to burn, though they tell you that they know you better. You are not deserving of hatred, though they shower you with spit in the streets, though they hold shouting matches that strip you of your humanity. You are not lost, though the darkness is palpable. There will be stars to illuminate your path and a hand to guide your way. You are not alone. There is a revolution waiting for you whenever you're ready. And that last piece was actually something that I learned from Mixed Rich, that revolution that wherever you go, even if it's in a place that has a reputation as hateful or prejudiced, there will always be revolutions with deep roots there.
My name is Andy Rose Tiscareño. I am a transgender woman and activist in El Paso, Texas. I am here today to remind you that our transgender youth are under attack. With legislative bills like bathroom bans and transgender sports bans that are trying so hard to keep our transgender youth from living the lives that they choose to live and being the people that they need to be, and trying to erase the rest of us, it's up to us as transgender adults, LGBTQ adults, and allies to do everything we can to fight for them and to make sure that those who are in power, who are repeatedly trying to attack the transgender community, the LGBT community, and trying to erase us from existence, are stopped. I call on everyone to be able to pay attention to the news and to vote, to always, always vote. Every vote matters, whether it's your city elections, your state elections, our national elections. Every vote counts, and every vote lost is a vote that we lose ourselves, that we cannot maintain our level of existence here in this country. We deserve to exist. Our transgender youth deserve to exist. And no one has any right to take that away from anyone. It's up to us to be able to fight for them, to show our voice, and to show our resilience in existing. I use my visibility as a transgender woman, an open and proud transgender woman, by using my visibility to educate and advocate everywhere I go, every day of my life. And I've helped so many people who think they know what being transgender means to truly understand who and what transgender people are. We're just people trying to make our way in the world just like everyone else. And we deserve every bit of freedom that everyone else has, and every human right that everyone is born with. No one deserves to take that away from us, and no one can take away our identity from us. We are here, and we are not going anywhere. So I urge everyone to get out and vote, donate, volunteer, and learn something new for once. I know we can all do this, and I know we can make this happen. Thank you.
Awesome. Make sure, folks, you are please going and donating. All right. The Eventbrite link is in the chat. Scroll around, you'll find it. And make sure you donate enough to get some of these fun incentives that we got going on. All right, friends? Great. Let's swing the program back around to our comedian, Stacey K, everyone. Let's run that video. Give it up in the chat for Stacey K. Or I can just keep on talking and I will riff for a second. Hey, you guys, what's the deal with airline food? No, I'm just joking. I don't know. Who's been on a plane recently? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? You know, we're supposed to just be like sitting still in places. I don't know about you guys. I am one of the few people who have experienced a coronavirus glow up. Okay. I'm 34, and all of my entire life, I was just like wondering, how come I can't catch up? How come all my friends are blowing past me? I can't keep up with life. I can't keep up with. wasn't I couldn't keep up. Y'all were going too fast. Everything needed to stop for a second, right? And then now that we're not doing anything, I am thriving. I'm a professional do-nothinger. Okay, awesome. Looks like we've got that video ready. So let's give it up for Stacey K, everyone. One more time for Stacey K. Put those ha-has in the chat.
Thanks for having me here at
Awesome.
Trans Existence as Resistance. Did I say that? Did I say that right? Okay, we're good. Say that 5 times fast. I've been saying it over and over. It's a mouthful. Anyways, thanks to the producers of the show. If more high school kids were doing stuff like this, the world would be a better place. And I'm glad to be here because, you know, I'm trans. I care about stuff like this. Legislation in my home is not great. My name is Stacey K. My name used to be Caleb. Childhood where my parents tried to raise me as a boy, and they weren't very good at it. I changed my name on all the important stuff, but it comes up on old things that I never bothered to change it on, like my Ulta Rewards card, you know. I'll put my phone number in, and they'll look at it, and they'll be like, Caleb? And I'll be like, it's my boyfriend. People sometimes will be with me, and they'll see the name, they'll see the last name, and they'll be like, wait, boyfriend?
Oh,
And I'll be like, I'm from Arkansas. Yeah, I am from Arkansas. It's different down there. It's a very religious place. I was raised by parents who, you know, sent me to a lot of therapy and gave me a lot of medicine to try to stop me from being this. One time they put me on this really rough anti-anxiety drug or whatever. I don't even know what it was, but it set me into a mode where I just became really honest and started, you know, like wearing my sister's clothes and telling people that I was a girl. And after that wore off, it took about a week, they started asking me again, like, hey, do you remember any of that stuff you were saying back whenever you were, you know, on the drugs? And I was like, nah. But I wasn't a very good liar. So about 2 months later, I found myself at a camp in Indiana. Conversion camp. It wasn't one of the fun ones. It was very religious. It was more like it was framed as like a Bible school. There was like 13 hours of Bible study. It was insane. And at the time, I didn't know it was a conversion camp. I didn't connect the dots necessarily. I knew it was related, but I didn't know exactly why. And then I noticed that everybody else around me was like gay. And I didn't really understand why, because at the time, see, I was not into guys at all. So here I was, surrounded by all of these people who keep confessing to gay stuff during class. Like, wow, okay, everybody, not okay. I didn't know about that, and I was very confused. You know, like, why are we holding hands during the prayer circle? I don't get this. And it was a wild time. People would constantly ask me to go to private Bible studies, like out in the woods. It was supposed to be like, you know, spiritual, you know. And I was not interested. I was like, nah, I actually want to go to sleep. I've done enough Bible study for the day. So I had I used to walk around with a football. I used to throw it at these guys to make them talk to me. You know, that's how guys socialize. You throw stuff at them, they throw it back. You know, now you're friends. You talk about things. And one person, he had his arms full. It was in front of a bunch of people. I acted like I was going to throw the football at him, but, you know, just as a joke. And then he laughed and then said, yeah, my mouth's not that big. And I was looking around like, is anyone else going to say it? Or, okay, no? All right, we'll let that one go. And, you know, the thing about it, I didn't say anything. I didn't say any jokes or whatever. And it's frustrating because if you saw the guy, like, he definitely seemed like he knew exactly how big his mouth was. You know what I mean? Okay, so, but you know, the conversion camp didn't work on me. And I think that's because I was a girl. But most of the guys there said they had a real good time. So anyways, I guess that's a bit of a humorous story I tell. Honestly, it was terrible. I hated being there, and it sucks that anyone would have to go to stuff like that. And it's legal in most states. A lot of states is legal in, and they're trying to make things worse for us. Like there's constantly like bathroom bills around the country. Gardner Edgerton, where I'm close to, they had a big deal with it, and you know, the kids that are lucky to have parents to support who they are, get that taken away from them by the government, which is, the last thing you want. The government enforcing more transphobia schools and things like that. And if a kid, can't use the right bathroom they want it, that's just, ostracization, and at such a young age, knowing that, you're not equal to everyone around you is terrible. So anyways, thanks for having me on the show. Please donate for the cause, and that's it for me. See y'all.
Yeah, awesome. I didn't have, unfortunately, unfortunately, I don't know. I didn't have a lot of religious trauma growing up. I went to church. I was there all the time. I loved my church. I think that was because we just never mentioned anything about gay people. And then I went to church with my mom recently, like earlier this year. And how humanity is trying to blur the lines between God's holy creation of man and woman. And I just sort of turned to my mom and was like, holy shit, did you know this was going to be the sermon today? And she was like, no, I did not. She's like, you going to be all right? I'm like, it's going to be funny. It was hilarious. Yeah. My pastor is not who I used to be. For your next performer, Flora has been with us all night, and let me give you a little information about her. Flora is a queer actor, singer, writer, activist living in California. They attended the ACLU National Advocacy No, we're doing something else. Okay, cool. No, I'm just gonna switch socks. Switch lanes here. Your next performer is a gender non-conforming performer, composer, and storyteller with the BFA from Cal Arts. Self-described as a professional overachiever, you can often find them writing musicals, fiction, and amassing large amounts of socks. Please give it up for Socks Whitmore, everyone. Socks Whitmore.
Musical that I am developing, a one-act show.
So, I am now going to share another poem that I wrote last year in response to anti-trans bills, as well as certain comedians making jokes about trans people. And it's based around the idea that trans and queer people in general are a new thing. And when we're really not, and we have a really long lineage that goes back for a really long time. So this is called We Have Always Been Here. We have always been here. In jazz clubs, in armies, on thrones, on the ballroom floor and the silver screen. We have always been here. We don't need you to understand us. The universe of possibilities is too vast to fit inside one small mind. We don't need you to love us. There is enough love among us to fill our hearts and spill over the edges. We just need you to see us as people, as fellow human beings, as equal, and not some joke that you toss around the schoolyard, and not some cash grab, some cheap laugh that you spit on a stage for millions of people. We just need you to see us as people and not some political ploy and not some subgroup whose suffering is popular with the public, a guarantee you'll get more votes next November. We just need you to see us as worthy of something more than desperation. We just need you to see us as more than a prop, and I just wish it would stop, and I just wish you would stop. We have always been here. You try to erase our past so that you may erase our future, so that you may erase our hope that one day we may be free, free from this endless stupidity, free from this endless use of us as tools for someone else's gain, for money, for power. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of everything. The jokes and the name calls and the not understanding. It's okay to not understand, but it's not okay to not try to learn. We have always been here. Our roots are deep and wide. Our branches brush the sky and turn their faces to the stars, knowing that one day that's where we'll be. Thank you.
Awesome. Wow. Powerful stuff. I've been super impressed by everybody tonight. What was I doing at 16? Smoking way too much pot. Yeah, no, not writing a single thing, just cutting class and hating school. Awesome, folks. Where do you guys want me to go now? Is there any? Do we have any update on Sox's video? Is that ready to go? Hi. Okay, great. I think this is exactly where we will wrap it up for the evening. You guys, get out there and vote. Please make sure you check out all those links that we were talking about earlier to get all the information that you need for voting in your area. Okay. Make sure to donate. Again, there are donation incentives at $5, $10, and I believe $15. So get out there and donate. If you donated it once, hey, feel generous. You've seen something that made you laugh or made you feel something tonight. Donate again, just a little bit extra. Donate at tinyurl.com/tear-down-transphobia. And remember, we're raising money tonight for Trans Justice Funding Project, but you can also find other places to donate in your area and other places to volunteer for other LGBTQ plus focused organizations like Borderland Rainbow Center, Queer Youth Assembly, Hugh Lang Wellness Foundation, Arizona Trans Youth and Parent Organizations, 1 in 10, Trans Can Work, and the LA LGBT Center. I wanted to thank you all so much for watching and bearing with us through all of our technical difficulties. You are the actual rock stars. Thank you so much. We are having an Instagram live Q&A with @Queer Youth Assemble, 6:15 Pacific time. Don't forget, support the trans kids in your life. All right, folks, support the trans kids in your life. There are so many, and there are so many who are listening and watching. Please also check out Invisible Men. We want to thank all of our speakers, all of our performers. I'm going to kick it on back to Flora. Thank you, Flora and Ro. I really appreciate you guys having me as a part of this event. Good job.
Thank you so much, Elsa Eli, for hosting this event. You did such a wonderful job. And everyone, thank you so much for watching and bearing with us. Don't forget to support the trans kids in your lives and that we can win if we fight. So now I'm going to pass it over to Ro to thank the speakers and performers.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much, Elsa Eli. Especially for the funny like improv stalling on the spot. That was incredible. I don't know what we would have done without that. Thank you to Lucky Alexander, not only for speaking, but also for making this all happen and putting it together. Incredible like technical skills, even though which is my fault, we didn't start the other live at the beginning. But there's always a next time. We also want to thank Andy Tiscareño, Stacy K, Gara Lawning, Jaden Fields, Sox Whitmore, Mix Rich, Eli Alper, Alistair Arbor, and Phoenix for generously sharing their stories, time, and creativity with us. And to the other organizers, Sophie, Phoenix, and Bat for helping us put together this event. And a special thank you to Sophie for redirecting everyone from our not working YouTube link to the one that does work. And of course, thank you to Flora here for being an incredible poet and organizer and having so much motivation and inspiring me, and also for being the best friend anyone could ever ask for.
Aww. Thank you so much to Lucky Alexander Fuller for supporting us in streaming this event. This was Invisible Men's platform that we were using, and he did all of the tech work. So thank you so much, and thank you also for speaking at the event. We're so appreciative of you. Thank you, Avery, for running the Instagram for the event. Thank you to Gina at LA LGBT Center's Trans Lounge, Lynn at Gold Comedy, Esme and Avery at Queer Youth Assemble, Wallace and Sebastian at 1 in 10, Coley at Hugh Lane Wellness Foundation, Andrew at Affirm Trans Kids, Tammy at Arizona Trans Youth and Parent Organization, Sammy James, and Hanson Bursick for supporting this event and making it possible. We couldn't have done it without you. So good night, everybody, and thank you, Ro, for working on this event with me, sharing your poetry, and being an all-around amazing person and friend. Good night. Thank you for watching.